All right, so if you don't have a racing simulator at this point, I just don't know what you're up to. I mean, racing simulators are literally the biggest tool that you could use as a racing driver to practice. We've been at NASCAR this entire weekend. We got 2 of them sitting inside of here, and we really need to get these things emptied out so we can get them back in our showroom and load them back up so people can come down here and they can, drive them. Now, when it comes to racing simulators, not all racing simulators are built the same. They're actually wildly different. You're gonna find a bunch of different racing simulators out there on the market, but the problem is there's so many different pieces and parts and things that are going on with simulators that in a lot of cases, people like yourself get really confused on like, well, which part should I put on my sim? Which simulator is better than the other? And so I kind of want to just tell you guys about why SimCoach's simulators are just so much different. Our simulators that we actually build, they're all built right here in America. So we have our showroom down here in Las Vegas. You can see 2 of them that are standing right here behind me. But we package these simulators to be exactly the way that you'd want if you're a racing driver or even a casual gamer that just wants that one-to-one practice. You see, we don't mess around with any of the cheap stuff on our simulators. They don't feel like video games. This is a big distinguish between sim coaches or other brands that you're gonna find. We do things the right way. We're not gonna sell you something that you're going to get tired of in the next year. The equipment that we put on all of our simulators are the best of the best. You're not gonna have to worry about upgrading them or changing things or like changing the pedals or the bass because it already has the best bass that's going to be good for you. You're not going to need to swap around and change things. The 2 simulators that you see even behind me, they come stock with our haptic kit as well. So they have the rumblers. There's 4 of them on each corner of the simulator. You got one in the right front, right rear, left rear, and these actually simulate the vibrations that the tire gives you when you're on the track. This comes stock. So these are the things that we do just to make sure that you're comfortable when you're in your simulator. Now, these simulators behind me, they also have the hydraulic pedals, which really is the best pedal option that you can buy for your simulator. The reason why hydraulic pedals are such a big deal is because you're able to tune the hydraulic pedals to feel just like the pedals inside of your race car. If you come and you say, hey, Lawrence, look, I create 1,000 PSI on my brake pedal. The way that they feel, I need it to feel, and the stroke has to travel this much. With hydraulic pedals, since it actually uses race car parts, we can exactly make that match the feel that you want. So, every single thing that's on a SimCoach's racing simulator is perfect. I started racing when I was 6 years old, so I know how things need to feel. And I don't like when a simulator feels like a video game. You're spending a lot of money on these things. They need to have a feeling that actually translates to you being faster out there on the racetrack. So that's why I'm just so confident that SimCoach's, nobody even touches us in the racing simulator world. We have the highest level of simulator, but we match a beautiful price for you guys so you can put it inside of your home. When it comes to online racing, we know what we're up to. We know what we're doing. These things come complete from the monitors, the PCs on them. They have the pedals, they have the steering base, they have the steering wheels, bunch of different steering wheel options, beautiful Sparco or OMP seats. I mean, even the seats are exact seats that you find inside of the race car. You can spend 5, 6, 7 hours sitting in this thing and you don't get any back or tailbone pain because we don't put cheap seats that have cheap cushions on it. We put nice, beautiful seats that are just like that are exactly the ones that are inside of race cars. So you're very comfortable. You can feel how plush they are right underneath your butt. This just goes to, show and hints on the point of how we do things at SimCoach's. We do things the right way. We're not going to do it the second, you're not going to have to come back to us a year down the line because you're like, look, Lawrence, I'm over my pedals. I want better pedals. No, we're not going to have that conversation because we put the best pedals on your simulator from the get-go. We were just out at NASCAR 2 weekends ago. This weekend we were out at the U.S. Nationals, the Legends race, and it was pretty cool actually meeting a whole lot of different people, seeing everybody that came out, and everybody that just had an absolute blast on our simulators. It was really cool actually seeing how many people were so familiar with the SimCoach's brand, seeing us online and so many people saying, man, I've been wanting to try your stuff out for so long. This is so cool that you guys are at an event like this because it gives me the opportunity to feel your stuff. And I can't tell you how many conversations we had with drivers that were on the field. They were just head over heels with the way that the simulators felt. I mean, my goodness, if I probably had that conversation probably 20, 30 times just in this last weekend with all the different drivers that came through the seats. Guys telling me like, oh my gosh, now I get it. I understand now why you keep on talking about having a simulator that's tuned like your race car. Because when you're sitting in one of these and you're actually sitting there having a lot of fun, you're building the muscle memory. You know how much brake pressure you're gonna press when you're coming into the corner. And then if it matches the brake pressure that you have in car, dude, it's gonna feel exactly the same. So it was really cool actually having the conversation, talking to all of you guys that passed by, and even new people that haven't maybe necessarily maybe even didn't necessarily know of the SimCoaches brand, but from that event came to figure out what we're all about. So our simulators, I mean, even these ones that I'm pulling out right now, they have the triple screens on it. You can see the monitor mounts. We only have the one screen on it right now because we do that for transport. It just makes it easier so we can stack them in side by side. We take the monitors off, but we generally do triple screens. And the thing that makes us so unique when it comes to triple screens that, again, nobody has even touched us with is we have our own monitor mounts. We manufacture them here. And so we're able to put the screens literally right next to your side. So you have that peripheral vision. When there's a car right to your right, next to your left, your peripheral vision picks up on it. It's not because you're necessarily always looking, at the car right there, but when you can actually see it in your peripheral vision, that's a big deal. You have your spotter, of course, that says car right, car left, but being able to actually see how far are they up on your car? Are they just at your right rear tire, or are they all the way up by your front axle? That makes a big difference on how are you going to treat them when you come into the corner. With our simulators, something that we also do that not a lot of people even really understand is we actually install these things into your home. So we freight it out to you, we put it in a crate, and then we freight it. Now, freight is incredibly good at telling you which day it's gonna show up and around about what time it's gonna show up to your home. So when we know these little details, we get ourselves a plane ticket, we fly out to your house, we do the installation, and then since we're at your house, we even train you and make sure you're comfortable on how to use the unit. You're spending a lot of money with us. We don't just ship this thing out to your house and then pray that everything's gonna work like some of these other brands do. We actually take the time to make sure that you're really comfortable with the new tool that you just purchased. And you know how to use it. You know how to tune things. You know all this stuff. And then prior, after all that stuff, we do all of our, support right here in-house. You're not gonna call up a support team and then find out that they're not even in America, they're out somewhere. So we take care of everything. With the SimCoaches brand, as time goes on, our entire focus and goal is when you think of sim racing, you think of SimCoaches. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a brand that's going to last, over the length of time. We want something that's gonna last 15, 20, 30 years, all the way down into the future. We're looking all the way down there. We're not looking for, just the relationship today. We wanna make sure that we service you to the highest level possible. So then when it comes to, your friends even talking about a simulator, you say, hey, I got a SimCoaches simulator and those guys are pretty badass. You should maybe look into them. At this point, we're starting to do a ton of events. I mean, this is really taking a lot of our time on the weekends. We're doing events a lot now. With the last 3 weekends, we've been out doing events, and we see events coming up even in the future, which is awesome because this gives us an opportunity to be remote into a different location and get a bunch of different butts in the seats, and then just have people understand who SimCoaches is. The more people that get to test our simulators and try our equipment, the more people get to learn about us and learn about our philosophy. I have this big lofty goal. As you might already know, maybe you don't. I started racing when I was 6 years old, just a little guy. And then my first career was a driver coach. I would travel to different racetracks and train drivers on how to be faster on the racetrack. Well, I want to take that back here into SimCoaches and bring the coaching back. And I want to get to the point where we train more drivers than even any of the racetracks when you combine them all together. We just have the opportunity to do that with my experience and my background and all the people that I know, our entire team, the people that we can add to this thing. I think that we're in a really interesting spot to where we can actually really revolutionize in a lot of ways the sim racing industry. And I think it'd be really cool. And we're doing that with hardware already. People love our pedals. They love the way they feel. We've been doing this for 4 years now. This isn't just something that we're new to. But now I think we're gonna tap into that coaching market and give you guys the coaching that you guys have been asking for. I mean, it's in our name, SimCoaches. And truly, we started with coaching first because when I stopped coaching in real life, I was like, let me try this thing in the online world. And it worked. And so then we got into hardware. We kind of stopped coaching because hardware just takes so much focus and development and changing things and testing things that it took a lot of time. But now that we have so much of this hardware already done, we've kind of figured it out. We've tweaked things. Now it's time that we're going to start getting into that coaching world. And so SimCoaches is just going to impact the sim racing world to an even larger level than what we've done in the past. Now, here's the thing. We've gotten a lot of emails recently from people that have been looking into racing simulators. And the biggest question that I get is, look, there's so much when it comes to a simulator, I just don't know how to package it. And I totally get that. I resonate with you as well. If this is something that you are really interested in, you're like, dude, I want a racing simulator, but I just don't know that much of the details about it, then what you should really do is contact us. Whether you email us in at support@simcoaches.com or you just text me directly at 702-246-2295, we'll be able to answer your questions. And the biggest thing that helps us is just understanding what your goals are as a driver. You know, some people only like circle track. Some people only like formula cars. Some people like all of that stuff together and they want the opportunity to do them all. The better that you actually tell us and the more that we understand about you and your goals, we customize these things to fit your budget, to fit your goals, and make sure that you're incredibly happy with the end product that's going to show up to your house. So if that's someone like you want a racing simulator, you know that you don't want a toy, but you want a tool. SimCoaches is the brand for you. Now all it comes down to is tweaking and tuning things to fit your budget, fit your goals, and then we just put this thing together, create it out to your house. You're gonna see us show up to your home. We're gonna do the installation, we're gonna train you on it, and we're just gonna have an absolute blast. You're gonna love it. I truly believe when it comes to racing simulators, no one touches SimCoaches. Absolutely nobody comes close to us. With the amount of understanding that we know about hardware. I mean, nobody even does hardware the way we do here in the United States. Every single one of these other guys that are out there are assemblers. They buy everybody else's stuff just like you could, and then they assemble it for you and then ship it out to you. We do things completely different. We make our stuff. So we know how it feels. We're able to control the quality. We're able to control the warranty of all these different products. It's exactly the team that you want behind you when it comes to racing simulators. So if that's someone like you want one of these things, then what you need to do is get in contact with us, whether it's through that support@simcoaches.com email address, or you call, you text me directly at 702-246-2295. Get in contact with us, guys, and we'll be able to build one of these. It takes about 3-4 weeks for us to build it, and then we create it, ship it out to your home, and heck yeah, we'll just go from there. So I'm going to close this off. I got 2 simulators that I got to pull out of this trailer so that we can get them back inside of our showroom for people that want to come in and drive on them. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.